Thank you, sir. So, okay, am I allowed to respond, Professor Das?
No, no.
I want to respond.
Yes, you will do after I say. Okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
You will reply
Okay.
to both of us, Dr. Tandon
Okay.
ji and myself.
Go ahead.
Yes, yes. The topic is philosophy, science, and religion. We should understand the importance of this topic because there are many things to discuss. So we should limit the discussion to a particular way. What can be discussed within 1 hour, 2 hours. The point is what Professor Maharajji highlighted, that a person as an individual, for example myself or anybody else, a person has three faculties. One is he has a faculty of inquiring, that he he will ask questions, questioning mind, inquiring, asking questions only. This is philosophy. It may be the question of science, it may be the question of religion, and it may be question of any social science. Any question that comes to our mind, that is philosophy. So philosophy is the inquiring attitude of a man. This part is over. This is philosophy. Science, the job of science is to answer these questions relating to the practical reality. So science deals with the real life, reality as such, cause and effect relationship, empirical reality, empirical modalities, changes, law of change, even region also. That is scientific by nature. That means to know the answers of the questions that come from our mind itself. Our mind is asking questions, and the another aspect of the same mind is to get answers. Asking question, getting answer. Asking question, getting answer. This is the play of science and philosophy. Intellectually, we are doing that. But these two are also not sufficient for human personality. Man should have a free zone of faith, free pursuit of faith, free pursuit of a belief, because inquiring and knowing cannot accommodate the entire knowledge, because our knowledge is too limited. Many great philosophers in both East and West, they have proved that human perspective of knowing is very much limited. We know the part out of the whole. Even we combine all genes so far we have discussed, we have created, that is not knowledge. Questions do not have any end, so philosophy has no end. Investigation, science means the true investigation, the free pursuit of investigation with empirical instrument. The methodology is different. The methodology of a philosophy is different. As Professor Maharaj says, it is the rationalization, it's the attitude of rationality, asking questions. The methodology of science is different because it is the empirical investigation. We have to take the reality with us. When we are asking questions, we are free to ask any question that may be speculative by nature. But when we are answering the questions, we have to be empirical by nature. We have to be very scientific by nature. That is science. But beyond these two zones, there is another aspect of human life, that is the realm of faith. That there should be a free pursuit of faith, imagination, belief system. These three have their distinct domains, have their three distinct methodology, have their three distinct purposes. So the methodology of one should not interfere in the methodology of another. The purpose of one should not interfere with the purpose of another. And the foundation of one should not interfere with the purpose of another. Because of this interference, we are unnecessarily debating and engaging ourselves with different types of cross questions, answers. That is not necessary at all, because these are three disciplines and we are discussing what is philosophy. Philosophy is this much, science is this much, and religion is this much. One is faith, another is knowledge, and another is inquiring. And how they are interconnected? Philosophy including science and religion, because philosophy has no personal questions. Philosophy is also taking the questions from science and religion. In that way, philosophy is necessary for both science and religion. How science is required? Science, science helps us to be free from the dogmatic pursuits. If philosophy is doing something wrong, if religion is doing something wrong, science is there to guide us, to give us the evidence, the practical investigation, practical knowledge with reality, that don't be misguided by philosophy and religion. This is the verified truth. And religion is necessary for both science and philosophy, because we should have a sense of humility that whatever we know, that is the subject to verification. That is not the final. We should have that submissive nature, that I am finite and I am going to know the infinite through philosophy and science. So that may be inadequate. This attitude is religious attitude, that I am myself a man having different instruments, not only with sense experience and reason, as discussed here. There are many different sources. For example, intuition, another is revelation. There are many modes of epistemological methods, but all the methods taken together, that cannot accommodate the infinite reality, the unseen reality, the unexplored reality. Therefore, we should believe in the sense of relativity as told by Einstein. That means everything is subject to change, everything shall pass away. This attitude is a religious attitude. It may be Hinduism, it may be Islamism, it may be any religious ism. That is the human, that means the realm of emotion, the realm of dedication, the realm of love. This part is religion. So when we take human personality as a whole, we have to be groomed with these three. If one aspect is overlooked, we are not complete. We should have a sound inquiring mind. As a child asks questions to mother. Every time we should have a learning attitude. We should ask questions. That is philosophy. Readily we have to go with the answers. We have to discover the answers. Science is the discovery of answers. Science is nothing but the discovery of answers raised by philosophy. The same scientist is a philosopher when there is questions in his mind, and the same philosopher is a scientist when he is taking the pragmatic reality into account without being biased by philosophical speculations and religious dogmatism. That is science. But after all, the question comes whether you are satisfied or not, whether you get peace or not, whether you do understand the real purpose of your life or not, whether we are doing lokasangraha or not, whether you are living a life of morality or not. All these questions, these aspects is regulated by our personal faith, personal belief, may be in God or may against God, but that is a part of religion. That is purely personal part, and that is required for human personality. Otherwise, we shall be not a we shall not have a complete personality. So here we are discussing philosophy and philosophy, science and religion as three instruments for growing and glowing human personality. How better we can inquire, how better we can answer the questions, and how better we can feel. So we have a feeling. We are not machines. We are different from AI, specifically in feelings. We have feelings, we have emotions, and that is a very private emotion, maybe private, maybe psychological, maybe subjective, maybe individual, so that there is no necessity others will interfere in my emotion. That is my personal zone. But similarly, I have my personal speculations, philosophy. But so far as science is concerned, that personal may be public, may be verified, may be empirically evident. So these three are necessary. One is the theory, that is philosophy, science is the practice, and religion is to live peacefully with these instruments of theory and practice. So now, Professor Maharaj, you respond.
Thank you very much. You have made my task very easy. Almost what I wanted to say, you have just said a lot of those things, and thank you very much for your explanation. So far as the questions of Professor Alok Tandonji are concerned, very valid questions. However, I have one reservation that it sounds to be reductionist approach about everything. So we want to reduce everything to science or everything to philosophy or everything to religion. And as you rightly said, Professor Das, that these are the three realms, and we should add another realm, that aesthetics, that is literature, poetry, and such type of aesthetics and other things we should also add to this. So as we know that religion is not to be just considered as hurdle in the way of science or philosophy or culture or civilization. As I mentioned already, all the great civilizations were religious civilizations. So we should not make these small things which are happening on the name of religion here and there because of ignorance, because of hatred, because of politics. These are not the nomenclature of religion. These are not the basis of religion. These are not the basic factors of religion. There are some vested interests in every community who are using religion or religious symbols for the political ends, not for the religious purposes. So religion has had been a reality throughout the annals of history. We can't condemn it to be against science, to be against reason. No. So where from the science has come? Even in Greek, the people who were just scientists, they were known as Elohim. Elohim means theologians. They believed in God, most of them, Plato and others. And then we have Plotinus. So he was, I should say, God intoxicated philosopher, as has been said about Spinoza as well. So he has talked only about God. And from that philosophy emerged science. And from that, philosophy, religion was also supported, and there have been a lot of arguments which have been propounded by the philosophers of religions like Saint Augustine in his Confessions and the City of God, and Aquinas in his Summa Theologica, and Ghazali, Tahafutul Philosopher, and Maqasidul Philosopher, and Ibn Rushd Fatwa in this, and that is Faslul Maqal Fima Bain al-Shariat wal Hikmat min Itsal, and Tahafutul Tahafa, and then Life Divine of Aurobindo Ghosh. And so many other such type of great books which have been written by our scholars. They belong to religion, but they have talked about philosophy. They have talked about science. They have talked about wisdom, and they have talked about literature. And they have given great books to the world, and they have given great wisdom to the world. And that has just, with the passage of time, that has become modern philosophy. And but in modern times, after the Renaissance and the Enlightenment, religion was relegated to oblivion, and there was a fight between church and science. But we can't generalize it. It was with the Christians, as Marx has rightly said. He calls the social laws of Christianity. He has not studied Islam. And there's only one reference in the whole books of Marx and Engels about Islam. That too, when Engels writes a letter to Marx and tells him that Messiah emerged in Mecca, who was at the trade route of this Syria. So, but there is no other reference towards Islam or Hinduism in his books, Marx's books, in Das Kapital. But he has talked only about the social laws of Christianity. And to generalize that all the religions have been like this, as church was there, that was making hurdles in the way of science, and Galileo and Copernicus and Kepler and Bruno, they had to face the music from these religious authorities. That can't be generalized. There have been scientists, as I mentioned, that, for example, in modern times, we had a great scientist who has been given Nobel Prize, Abdul Salam. He says, I have heard him himself in Aligarh Muslim University, that he says that this law of unification was discovered by me based on the Quranic verse. Ma tatara fi khalqi rahmani min tafawa. I could not find any discrepancy in the laws of God here and there, in the heavens and the earth. And that led him to the unification theory, and on which he was given Nobel Prize. In the same way, I have seen, Abdul Kalam. So he also talks that wings on fire. He says that when I had to go to NASA, I went to masjid and I offered prayer there, and there has been no, contradiction between my faith and my science. In the same way, I have quoted Einstein and others. I have not quoted them in order to show that they accept what we mean by religion or what we mean by science. No, but they were not denying altogether religion. They were giving, credence to the religious truths as well, and they were saying religion has also a role in history and society and civilizational march. So we can't discard religion altogether, as some people are doing this in modern times. It was not like that. So most of the philosophers and most of the science, they believed in the religion as well as the guiding principle. And then basically the problem is with epistemology. What is the epistemological tools to reach to the reality? So science just takes the root, as been said by Professor Das also, that it takes the root of empiricism and verification and sensory knowledge. And then philosophy takes the root of reason. And if we take empiricists and rationalists together, then we can join these. But in the Western tradition, we have either empiricists or either rationalists or intuitionists. But in the case of Oriental religions, Islam and Hinduism and Buddhism and other Jainism, so we can take at least 2 or 3 sources together, like sense perception, reason, and intuition. And in Islam, even revelation, and that is shurti in many ways. So in this way, how we can confine only to one source of knowledge, that is sense perception, and we reach to, in the words of Bertrand Russell, to sensibilia or sense data or the neutral monism, and then all the logical positivists, and say that unless and until we are able to verify, different type of propositions, that is nonsensical. So then where they are reaching to and where they have led us to, and this then now finally we reach to this dead end of the postmodernist approach, where there is no big narrative, there is no grand narrative, and there is absurdity, there is no meaning of anything. And there's the end of the history and the lost man. So this is this has been the fate of believing only in sensory knowledge, which has been the theory of positivism, which had been propounded by Auguste Comte, that there have been 3 stages of civilization. One was theological stage, second was metaphysical, and third is positivistic. So that is the historical role of religion. So, but we do believe history as the vehicle of revolutions, to quote Marx. So Marx has also tried to condemn or just to categorize everything in terms of materialist resources, and even religion he called as the opium of masses. Everything is the reflection of the material condition of the society, and that was a flaw, and that did not work. And finally, we found that in those countries which were controlled by the communism or Marxism, those revolted against that, and then they returned back to religion. Even West is returning back to religion nowadays. So in this way, there is something lacuna, there is something lacking in us when we just depend only on one source of knowledge. It may be sense perception in science, it may be reason in philosophy, it may be intuition in Sufism or mysticism, unless and until we take all these 4 sources together to make a civilization. All the civilizations have been based on these 4 sources of knowledge, and it may be Gandhara civilization, it may be Islamic civilization, Greek civilization, it may be Roman civilization, it may be Vedic civilization. So even civilizations are just getting inspiration from religion, and which philosophy, and religion becomes philosophy, and philosophy becomes science. And it is the outgrowth of that, cultural, civilizational, where from these great architectures have come. It may be Mughal architecture, it may be Hindu architecture, it may be Buddhist architecture. There has been the role of religion behind that. It was not only science. So the philosophy of religion, the Weltanschauung, that is the worldview, that was governing every activity of the communities, and they were marching ahead in their civilizational march. So in this way, we can't reduce. This is a reductionist approach to just say that science is everything. Science has been always there. Religion is opposed. No, it has been not there. Science has been not opposed always by religions. For example, as I said, as Salam Saab says himself, Salam, that Quran has not stopped me from going ahead to go for the unification theory. And there have been scientists like Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd, and Averroes, And then Augustine, so they have written on the science, but they were religious people. Their ethos was religious, and they contributed a great deal. And if we remove their name from the history, what will remain there in the history? So they were religious people. So how we can deny their role in science and philosophy and culture and civilization? So in this way, we have to be holistic. And the isms, whatever isms there have been, these have been faltering. They have not taken us anywhere. And whatever the violence is going on, behind every violence there is ideology, not religion. When religion becomes ideology, that creates problem. It is not because of religion. Religion has always tried to create such personalities, human beings who have been humble, who have been sympathetic, who have been very, very nice, contributing to their humanity and the values, and their role has been great in the history. And everything is known because of them. Be it Mahatma Buddha, be it Rama, Krishna, or it may be Muhammad, or it may be Guru Nanak. It may be this we have Bhakti movement people. So great people, and their contribution can never be discarded. And they were motivated by religion and spirituality. They were not motivated by science or philosophy only, but their views have also contributed to awakening, that is inner awakening and outer awakening both. And as Professor Das has rightly said, we have not compartmentalized man. Man is as a whole, he has several dimensions: spiritual, emotional, and then material, physical, and aesthetic. So when we take religion takes care of many things which philosophy can't take. Philosophy takes care of several things. Science takes care, and when we combine all these sources together, then we have a complete man. Otherwise, man is like a machine, as these artificial intelligence people want us to believe. We are not machine. We are humans. We have feelings. We have a soul. We have a spirit, and we have a lot of emotions, which are making us what we are. So it needs a lot of discussion. But I feel that we can't discard religion, that it has opposed science always. No, there have been phases of history where religion has supported science. And because of that, we had great scientific inventions which have come to fore. In the same way, philosophy has also helped a great deal understand various problems. If we take these all together, these four, it may be philosophy, it may be science, it may be mysticism, and it may be religion, then a complete picture of a holistic development will just take place. And we can have a complete man, not a fragmented man, as has been mentioned by existentialists, Das man, who has become object in the objects of the world. And modern science has made us objects in this world, and we have become mechanical. We have become like molecules, as molecules, spiritual material molecules. We are a little bit human molecules. I don't know how to define it. So this Western philosophy and isms, whether it is communism or it is pragmatism, it is atheism, it is materialism, they have just reduced us to these aspects, as we have become mechanical agents rather than any living and I should say existing beings who have a great role. It is Das, not Das man. We have existence, we have being and nothingness. We have something more than that. We have freedom. Man is condemned to be free, as has been said by Sartre, Jean-Paul Sartre. Humanism is existence in humanism, and other philosophers of human existence, they have revolted against this objectification of humans. And our Indian philosophy and Oriental philosophy, Islamic philosophy, there is much value to everything. And that is not piecemeal, that is not partial, that is holistic in approach and taking all things together, not like Western approach to philosophy or religion or science, where either there is only sense perception or there is only reason or there is intuition, and there is no mention of surety or revelation. But when we take our Oriental philosophy into account, we find all these four sources are there, which give which give birth to a complete man who has feelings, who has spirit, who has soul, who wants to contribute something to the humanity. He does not think that we are just like the material set of as other things of the world, or they don't believe, as Darwin has said, that we are there is survival of the fittest, and big fish is eating the small fish, and that is the culture of the West nowadays, clash of civilizations, and haves and have-nots. There's only fight, there's only killing, and there's only bloodshed. But in the Eastern civilization, Eastern religion, there was samvad, there was discussion, there was fellow feeling, there was student and teacher, relationship, there was shish and teacher relationship, guru relationship, and there was a lot of love and respect for each other. And because of that, we have reached to the stage when we can contribute to world understanding of the reality. And it is our role now to tell the people who have made this life life is not fragmented, it is holistic, it has a purpose, it has a meaning. We are not believing in postmodernism where there are no grand narratives. We believe history has a meaning, man has a meaning, and all narrative has a meaning, theory has a meaning. And this can be only given by the Oriental people to the West. Western philosophy has failed, and the dead end of that was postmodernism and post-normal times. So in this way, there it needs more explanation. Sometimes some other time I will definitely, and I could even talk about separately on philosophy, separately on science, separately on religion. But this was the beginning in this way, and we can have a good discussion on sir. But I am very thankful to Professor Alokji, because when you are just criticizing and you're responding like this, and it helps us a great deal. Then we start thinking introspecting, and then Professor Srinavasan and Professor Pramod Kumar Das and other friends, Yunaji and all, they have also just made many things clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Maharaji. Um, only in 3 sentences, I shall contribute to what you said. Um, be truthful in your pursuit of inquiry. Be truthful in your pursuit of inquiry, irrespective of, underline this one, irrespective of your religion and the practical, pragmatic, scientific reality. Whenever you are doing philosophy, you go on asking questions. Don't fear even science. Don't fear religion. Don't be biased by science and religion as a philosopher when you are pursuing questions. But history says this has not. Religion has influenced philosophical inquiry. The Christian authorities, popes, they have influenced philosophers not to have a free pursuit of thinking. So many examples are there from Berkeley and many great philosophers. They have been, even scientists also. Scientists are also not free in their free pursuit of investigation. Galileo, Copernicus, they have faced problems. That should not be. When we are having free inquiry, we should be very much truthful. That is philosophy. Similarly, be truthful in your pursuit of scientific investigation, irrespective of the philosophy you cherish and the religion you belong. That freedom should not be disturbed by your philosophical thought and your religious belief. That is true science. Science should not be biased by philosophy and religion dogmatically. And be truthful in your pursuit of religion, irrespective of your philosophy and your scientific foundation. Irrespective of, because you are free to have your own religion. You are free to have to live your life with certain belief system. If it is not affected by anything else, and if it does not influence anything else, that is pure religion. That is also part of personality. So these three domains should be treated, should be taken care of without influencing each other. Professor Maharaji gave so many examples how one discipline influences another disciplines, leading to conflicts. That should not be. The methodologies are different, the purposes are different, the foundations are different. And these three, when they are integrated, we have great creation. But when these three compete against each other, then we have conflicts only. This is the life what we live now. This is what the present generation is. If they are integrated, we have innovative creation. If they fight, if they compete, if they influence each other, we have a fragmented personality. We should have a complete personality, Purna Bhaktitva. Emotionally, I should be sound. I should have better feelings. If I do not have a better feelings for others, what is the usefulness of philosophy and science at all? Even if I am a great scientist, I will commit suicide tomorrow because I do not have feelings for my nation, for my family, for my creation, for my work. I should be a karmajogi. And in order to be a karmajogi, not only I should have only the skills of a karma or I should have only jnana, I should have the sense of a love, sense of a dedication, sense of a learning, sense of accepting others, sense of synthesizing the diversities. That is nothing but religious attitude, feelings, emotion, and all these three inquiring, knowing, and feeling. Inquiring, knowing, and feeling. Philosophy, science, and religion. These three, if they are groomed properly by man, then man is man. Otherwise, he is not man. That is the purpose of a man, that we should have a complete personality. Purna Bhaktitva. Mahavira Jina has raised this question. Therefore, he said, Sadhavad, Sadhavad, Sadhavad. Many great philosophers, they have discussed this, that our knowledge is incomplete. Just be aware of this limitation. That is enough. Then there will be no conflict. We are committing two mistakes. We think, as a suppose we are taking one discipline, and we think that this discipline is the best one. Now this is one mistake. And the second mistake is we try to influence over other disciplines with the tool of that discipline that we cherish. Suppose I am a scientist, I shall influence over religion and philosophy. Suppose I am a great philosopher, I shall not obey the rules of science and the principle of religion. If I am a great religious man, example Christian authority Pope, then I shall influence the philosophy and science. I shall never allow them to develop. This competition should not be, so far as the modern mind is concerned, modern technology is concerned, modern civilization is concerned. Otherwise, we are going to hell. If there is a conflict between the inner possibilities, three possibilities, philosophy, science, and religion, if there is conflict, then we are going to hell. If these three are integrated, we are going to heaven. The choice is ours. Thank you. Achha, now we shall invite Professor Abhinav Srivastava who is appearing to be
No, no, no.
very pleased and
I'm, I'm,
very
I'm
grateful, very
really
thankful.
I'm very enlightened by the talk of Professor Merazi.
Yes,
And
sir.
after a long gap of time, I happened to come here. Let me first congratulate him for
Thank you,
his
sir.
brilliant speech. And he has just such a sound speech he has given. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
him like anything. I congratulate him.
Thank,
And one
thank,
thing I would like to, last but not the least, that every science has a religion and religion has also its science. And for your information, if you happen to see the Newton's particularly, he has taken most of his scientific inquiries and investigation from Kanad theory of Vaisheshik Sutra, and you will feel, if you happen to go all these things, even his relativity, gravity, and all these things, he has just translated the Vaisheshik Sutra into two. If you so like, I can send you,
yes,
yeah, I can send you the
welcome.
things. The source is there, the Kanad Sutra is there, the interpretation of Kanad is there, and you will see that the entire thing has been just copied from Kanad itself. So the Western religion and Western science, and every science rather, every science has its own religion, and religion has its own science, because religion stands in Vedic tradition, dharma, dharayate iti dharma, that principles that helps in uploading the helping the human being flourish and prolong his civilization and body and the society. That is the dharma, and that dharma is very scientific in itself. And that's why I say, lastly, that every religion has science and every science has science.
Yes, so
Thank
just,
you, sir.
yeah,
It
thank
was
you.
very enlightening speech. I'm rather lucky that I am present here. Thank you so much.
To you all, sir. So just I would like to add one point. As Sir Said has said, this world universe is the work of God,
Sir,
and the scripture is the word of God. How a work of God can deny or contradict the word of God? So if we see in that light, then this world will take us to God, and God will take us to the world. So, but the problem is when we just compartmentalize things, then we feel there is fragmentation. Otherwise, there is unity only.
right
Thank
here, sir.
you
One
very
more
much.
thing I would say, फलसफे के बहस के अंदर खुदा मिलता नहीं, फलसफे के बहस के अंदर खुदा मिलता नहीं, कि डोर को सुलझा रहा हूं पर सिरा मिलता नहीं. Thank you once again, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Abhinash ji.